Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, or good evening, or good morning, wherever you're at. Welcome back to the stream. Today, I'll be building a Scaffold keyboard. This keyboard is really interesting. It's got, it's all flat, but it's got these little bits here and these bits here, and that allows you to, tilt each key individually, at least on certain of the keys. So it's kind of a 3x5 plus 4 or 5 thumbs, maybe? It's 6 thumbs? I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell exactly how many keys are on here, but it's 42, 50 keys, something like that. But the really, I've said before, the really cool thing about this board is that you can have non-flat keys. So you get kind of a sculpted board out of it. So the way that works is you've got these things, which look like they're all identical, so I can pop some off and not worry about, messing up the pairs and stuff. And you stick that little bit in here. This little bit in here. Maybe. It's the first time I've tried this, obviously. And then take your switch. And I don't know which way this is supposed to go on, but we'll just put it on there just for grins. So then you've got this elevated or this angled key platform here. So the switch goes on there and it's angled, and it's got, you do that on the other side and you've got it angled, so it's got kind of a dished thing. So that's really cool. I hadn't known about this until I got these PCBs from Shoggot when I was in Washington, D.C. For the Absolem Club meetup. So it's pretty cool. It also it has wiring or something on PCBs itself for joysticks. So if you have little joystick controllers you want to use, it's got OLED support. It's a split, so it's got TRS jacks and that sort of thing. Today we're just doing basic build with chalk switches because that's what it comes with. Or not comes with, but that's what it's built or designed for. Just because, joystick's cool, whatever, but the interesting thing about this board for me is the angled switches, so we're gonna see about that. So this is the Scaffold by Choubbi. I'm gonna go with Choubbi, just because it looks about right. Yeah. Hello, Xavier, Ron, and our unregistered friend. Welcome to the stream. Yeah. I don't know if there's anything else. Oh, this could take me 2 streams. So I'm not gonna try to marathon through this today. It's looking at it more, it's not really overly complex. But there is some complexity, of course, and I want to make sure I take my time on it and not screw it up. There's a build guide, so if you look in the description down below, there's the link to the GitHub repo, and that has, stuff about the PCBs and the parts you need and assembly guide. So I'm going to try to, because there's some variables here, if I was just soldering this as a flat board, it's pretty straightforward. There's diodes, hot swap sockets, pro micros. But on the little riser boards, there are also diodes. So I don't know if I need them in both places. I don't know exactly how I should be soldering the riser. I'm just going to try to follow the guide a little bit, at least until I kind of figure out, what is necessary. I'm not going to follow it line by line, but yeah. One thing I think is kind of odd is there's on the flat part of the PCB, there's hot swap socket support. So you can see here, these are the pads for hot swap sockets. So each switch has support for chalk hot swaps. or kale sockets rather. But the risen these are soldered on, so that's kind of an interesting design decision. But I imagine it's because it's hard to fit the socket on to these little PCBs of the socket footprint. So it's not like deal breaker, but I just, you know, it makes it a little interesting because it's like, okay, well, am I supposed to solder the socket in and then I put these in and then that like clips it? No. This is just, you just don't use the sockets. As far as I can tell, you don't use the sockets at all with these. So we're going to get to it here in just a second. 4x5 plus 2. Oh, really? Okay. Well, I guess it makes sense because there's 1, 2, 3, 4. But see, it doesn't quite go 4 on the outer pinky column. So that's what's weird. Yeah. But we'll see. I'm going to start with the home row, and then do the top row, and then the bottom row, and then the rest of them I'm going to treat as thumbs, I think. Or just like thumb / macro / whatever, not like typable keys. Just because I wouldn't reach that far down with a finger, I don't think. Although maybe I'll lift up 3 of them just to kind of see, just to try to type on it and see, you know, can you actually really reasonably reach down to those with the other one in the way, but we'll see. Not making any promises. So, yeah. Let's get cracking here. Okay, so first step, to separate the pieces you need. Each angled key needs 2 angled supports and an individual key holder. Okay, I'm not going to pull those all apart. I'll do it on the fly. Let's start putting solder on one of the pads of each SMD diode for the flat keys only. So it looks like diodes are on top. Okay. So I'm going to do the old tape trick, especially because this is kind of hard to see. Get this off the side here. Alright, so, but it says only on the flat keys. Okay, so for the moment, I'm going to assume that the only flat, for the moment, I'm going to assume the only flat keys I'm going to have are these, because it looks like I can lift up the thumbs as well. I'm going to just kind of play that by ear, like I'll put those, you know, I'll probably solder a couple of switches to these, put them on there, but without soldering, and kind of see how it feels, just to see. Does this feel loose? This feels a little loose. Okay. It's fine. So I'll buy a couple sets of these, put them together in different configurations. Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. It'd be really cool if the riser parts somehow like socketed into the hot swap sockets on the flat part. I know that's really complicated. I'm just saying it'd be cool. I'm not trying to be like, oh, this is how it should be. So that way you could swap them around and be like, okay, well, I want the middle finger to be flat, but this one to not be, and stuff like that. Or whatever you want to do. I don't know. Come up with all sorts of crazy combinations of things. Well, I have enough for here for the moment. I do like that the diode silks on this board are very large and easy to see. Because I am an old, my eyesight is going on me. Oh yeah, you can totally do different angles and stuff. I don't know if it's getting picked up on the mic or not, but my Roomba is going above me right now, so if you hear weird sounds, probably the Roomba upstairs. I will say I used to kind of naysay on the Roomba for a long time because I was like, it's not systematic, it just kind of flails around and eventually gets it clean. But you know what? Like, in my experience so far with the Roomba, it's doing a better job if I run it every day, keeping the floors, like, subjectively clean than I have been. And so it's worth doing. Because when you have two cats, floor and hardwood floors, they get dirty really fast. Because there's just litter and hair everywhere. I like that the risers, at least from my initial look at them, seem to stick into the board well enough without being soldered that you can kind of put everything in place and try it a little bit. Like, it's not electrically connected, but you can kind of, like, put your hands on there and get a feel for it. Oh yeah, especially with cats, I won't use carpet because that's just, yeah. Because dirty hardwood, at least you can wear socks if they get too bad. And I can mop it. I don't understand how people with children have carpet. I mean, the number of times I threw up or, you know, other bodily functions on the floor when I was a kid. Well, see, for zoomies, you can have a rug. Like, I have a rug. Well, I was going to say I have a rug in my dining room, but no, actually I don't. It's under my feet right now, because when I moved my office stuff to the basement, I moved the rug as well. Makes it much nicer down here. So it's not just a nasty, dirty hardwood floor, or not even hardwood. It's painted concrete. It's gross. It's a basement. Well, I mean, that's excusable, right? Like, I'm not saying, I wasn't trying to throw shade at you. Sorry. Or really throw shade at anyone, just I don't... Like, it just amazes me, because the carpet has to get really nasty. I mean, maybe you just live with it? Yeah, my cats were very afraid of it at first, and now they don't care. Oh, casino carpet. Gross. Okay, start putting solder on the pads. For diodes. Oh, wait. I might have skipped ahead. Oh, no, it's saying it's just solder the diodes. Don't hesitate to turn the PCB around to access the pads more comfortably. Okay. SMD headers for the joysticks. Okay, that's what, where's that? I mean, I don't have them, but like... Just trying to see... Maybe that's on the other... Oh, okay, so that's the joystick header. Oh, you can only do joystick on one side? Oh, no. Okay, there we go. There's the joystick pads on the other. Okay. Painted wood floors. That's interesting. I've never seen that. I don't think. Yeah, I've had, I don't know if it was vinyl wood flooring or just laminate flooring, but it was, you know, faux wood. Solder the sides of the header first. Okay. Check for shorts. Fix until no shorts. For each of the angled keys, you need solder the diode. Okay. So I need to put diodes on the pads for the keys. So we're going to start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we need 20 of these. Which looks like these are columns of 6. So we need 3 and 3. Something like that. Okay. Move this out of the way for a minute. I do like how thorough this guide is in terms of, like, you know, it goes so far as to say, don't hesitate to turn the PCB around to get more comfort. I mean, it's stuff like that that seems kind of silly when you've built, like, 60 keyboards. But when you're building your first board and it's already daunting because it's this... I mean, I'm not going to say I'm intimidated by this, but it's definitely, like... you know, non-trivial keyboard here. So to have stuff like that, I think is really good for newcomers to the hobby, or just, you know, even if they're not planning on building anything after this, just, I've never soldered before. Can I turn the PCB around? You know, does it have to be soldered a certain direction or anything? No. Spin it around, tape it down on the table. Hell, I used to have so much tape all over my boards, especially soldering SMD diodes. Because I would tape the diodes to the board so that they would stay in place and then I could solder them. I think there's even streams of me doing that way back. And it's a totally valid approach, but it's, you know... Whoops. I don't want to do that yet. Okay, but it's saying... Okay, so for each of the angled keys, you need solder the diode like it's been done on the main PCB for the flat keys. Trust the silk screen to see which way to solder the diode. Okay. I'm going to spin them around because for some reason the diode... the diode pointing to the right is a more natural... My brain wants to think of that way. No, I'm not, because the... Okay. Because I soldered, or I tinned the opposite side of the diode. Good, I'm glad it was so useful for you. Hopefully you didn't sit through the whole damn thing, because that was a long stream. Oh. I definitely found an upper bound there in terms of how long I could stream. It's like 6 hours long or something like that. I had some troopers, though, who were there most of the time. Had it running while I was working on a PowerPoint. That's, okay. You're like, I gotta have something to make this not terrible. So I'm gonna do a PowerPoint. See what I did there? Okay. Okay, this tip is all sorts of nasty. That's better. Yup. I am proud to say I've never made a PowerPoint in my life. I have done a couple of things with Keynote, but only very few. Because I am of the live demo persuasion. Yeah, see, I have a hard time doing anything like coding or writing or anything and listening to like a podcast or something like that, because I can only do one of those things at a time. So, which is probably fine for like my stream, because you can, you don't have to listen to every single word I say, or really any of them. If you want to just like come back and be like, oh, where's he at on these? But like a podcast, definitely, because I want to listen to most of it. Because it'll just zone into the background and I won't even hear it. And then it's like, great, I just listened to like 3 episodes of this podcast and I couldn't tell you what they talked about. Yeah, my streams are definitely not like build guide material. It's like, alright, next up we're going to solder diodes. And then, okay, I'm going to solder a diode. I'm going to solder another diode. And then another. And it's like, for a build guide, you don't need to show how to solder each individual diode. Unless there's something particular about how you need to solder each individual diode, which I would argue is... Or, not argue, I would be really interested to see what that might even look like, because I can't think of it. Yeah. This is just like... I don't know, with my streams, I kind of want to just be like... This is really relaxing for me, to just like throw on some chill music, or I would love to have different music, but this is the easy royalty-free stuff. And just solder. And just like build cool keyboards. To kind of just like share that same kind of relaxation that I get out of it. And also just because it's kind of fun to sit here and hang out with, talking to y'all on chat. And maybe someday I will get enough subscribers that I can monetize it and make my 5 cents a video or something like that. But that's not the goal. Maybe when I get closer to 1,000, I'll have some sort of drive for subscribers or something like that, but I doubt it. Because I doubt I'll get to 1,000 before I leave for the trail. Okay, so it wants me to do the... It wants me to do the controller next. I mean, I see the controller soldered here. But I don't think so. I think I want to do the thumb, or the angled switches. Okay. Individual support on top with the diode on top near the closest edge to the main PCB. Okay, so that's one thing I would have screwed up. So what it's saying is you put the supports in. I am doing the Appalachian Trail next. Or Appalachian, however you want to pronounce it. I'm sure I'll be corrected a million times while I'm on the trail. That's my next stop. So place individual support on top with the diode on top, but near the edge closest to the PCB. Okay, so like this. One thing I will say is if I had it to do this all over again, I would key these such that you couldn't put them on wrong. Okay, then solder, but near the edge. Then solder the inside connections on the highest point. Okay, so what I would have screwed up is I would have put these supports in, soldered them to the PCB, and then put this on and been like, well, how do I do this? But what it's saying to do here is you put this on, and then you solder inside here, and then pull that off of there, so you can solder the other part. And then you solder it onto the PCB, the main PCB. So it's non-trivial, and this is why it's going to take more than one stream, probably. But we're just going to tack this in place here. So get a big old blob of solder. Try not to burn myself. Just kind of blob it in there a little bit. Get another blob. Blob it in there a little bit. Okay. Hello, Choubbi. Thank you for your awesome board that I am building. I've been looking forward to this since Shoggot gave it to me. I was like, what is that? How does that work? That's really cool. It's actually pretty easy. Like I said, I literally just put a big blob of solder on there and kind of mashed it in there until I saw that it was coating both pads, and then pulled it off and saw that it was still coating both pads. Didn't care that the solder joint was kind of crappy, because it's just there to hold it in place. So I can flip it over, solder the other one. Now I can effectively just reflow this, put a little more solder in there to get it good. Now I've got my little assembled thing. It's cute. Okay. Now I'm gonna solder it to the board itself. I may be skipping ahead a few steps, but what I want to do here is just kind of sanity check that I've got everything in order, because then I'm gonna do all of them in one go. Okay. So the way I'm gonna do that is I want to test. Well, I was gonna say I want to test across the pads continuity, but that requires a switch. Oh shit! And this is why I'm doing this on one and not all of them. Because I don't have a switch on here yet. And I'm looking, and I put solder in that switch hole. So that's fun. Yeah, so I solder the switches on before I solder it onto the main board. Okay, cool. So I screwed up just a little bit. And also, I got a little bit of solder in that switch hole there. Which, now that I look at it, I'm not sure how to avoid that, because that's where I need to blob the... Okay, we'll look into it on the next one. I'm going to solder this on here in place, but I want to get this... There's a little blob of solder... in that switch hole I want to get out of there. Okay, good. And we're going to use robins, why not? Okay. Okay. This is a tight fit. I think there's a link in the actual build guide. I could be wrong. Okay, so you see me doing this way. This is not how it was intended to do, but I'm doing it this way because I screwed up and soldered the whole assembly to the PCB before I soldered the switch to the PCB. So I'm just doing this one this way, because I feel like it's easier to do this than to try to pull the whole damn thing off. There. Okay, now I can check for continuity across something. I'm gonna guess these two. Well, I got continuity somewhere. Okay, well, now it's probably ground. Yeah. Oh, you know what? It's probably backward. Remember, kids, diodes are directional. whatever. I'm pretty sure it's fine. If not, I'll fix it. I mean, I don't know what could be wrong if there is anything wrong. So, I'm pretty sure my Roomba just got stuck. All right. Alright, so let's do some more of these supports. No, Roomba just ran over something in the bedroom. Roomba really likes to eat cables. And I don't know how to prevent it from doing that. But I've got some cables on the floor in my bedroom next to the bed, because I have stuff plugged in next to the bed. And Roomba just likes to go through and rip everything off of the tables or off the nightstand and like chew up the cables and stuff like that. Sometimes it just kind of goes over them after it does all that and it's like, okay, I'm done with you. But most of the time it gets stuck. So pretty sure it's just stuck in my bedroom. It's fine. It probably cleaned enough. So one thing I noticed on that first one is that the way this seems to want to get built is you stick this on here and then you solder the connections where these two reach, because like if you look on the side here, there are pads there. On the inside, they're the same pads, but they connect to on the PCB. But on the right-hand side here, that's one of the switch holes. And so I'm looking at this, and I'm like, how do I get, you know, blob without filling up that switch hole every time? So I kind of feel like I want to go all the way in and blob these two, put the switch in, then solder the other two. Because then I'm soldering the switch right into the thing. I'm gonna give that a try. Because since I'm just blobbing on the inner ones, it doesn't have to be pretty. Whoops. I just need to reach all the way in there. And just blob those two together. Like that. Blob those two together. And hopefully this whole thing pops off and stays that way. Yeah, I think that works better. Because if you look, I don't know if this shows up very well on camera. Side of the pads next to the switch hole only when you've added the switch. Okay, so do you reach all the way into the bottom here like I did? Let me see if I can temporarily turn off autofocus so I can get a close up here. So I just reached all the way in there and blobbed those two little ones. And then I'll put the switch in and get these top ones here. Ugh, that does not focus well. Can I telephoto and get better focus? Focus, you fuck. Sorry, normally I just do fixed focus. Oh, because it needs to be wider than that. Okay, never mind. Well, we're gonna go back to this one. Huh, okay. Looks like the way you do it. Okay. Then that's the way I will do it. Oh, these are just gonna... Oh, no, they won't. I was gonna say, these are just gonna fall off when I flip this over, aren't they? Here I'm trying to be clever and do a bunch of them at once. Okay. Oh, you know what would be really cool? This idea I just had? A light that points where your soldering iron is pointing. Because then you can get in here, because I can't see a damn thing. Oh boy. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is do one half, then do the other half tomorrow. Because otherwise I'll be here all day. Okay. And I've got some ugly solder here that I need to clean up. So I can actually get the switch in there. Okay. All right. See if I can use this effectively here. It's good enough. Come on. There. Come on. There we go. These little grippers aren't, the jaws don't open very wide. So it's kind of hard to get it in there. Okay, and then there's a little bit of solder on that. Okay, just want to get that off of there. The jaws don't open super wide, and they've got these big fat rubber tip things on them, which are great, but also makes it hard to... Well, so you kind of use the PCB itself as the jig, because you put them in the PCB and then solder the inside to hold it in place, pull it off, solder the rest of it, put it back in. So it should, in theory, be pretty close. I mean, it's all hand built, so it's going to be tolerances and stuff like that, but... I mean, there's always tolerances, but I mean, it's going to be like bigger tolerances. Jeweler grippers. I have not heard of that. I may have to look that up. I just have these are just the stock chompers that came with the kit. I bought one of these, one of these deals that has 4 big, it's got two big ones of this and two shorter ones, and they just magnet on there. But since they're magnetic, they also magnet to half of the stuff on my desk. So, my solder spool holder is like the general purpose multi-tool mounting platform that that I have on my desk. My face cam is mounted to it. The arm here is mounted to it. It's pretty great. And it's heavy enough that it doesn't move around, and as long as I'm not trying to cantilever too much on here, it'll hold it in place. And if I am trying to cantilever too much on here, the mounting, I have my main camera here is on it's meant to like bolt into a post or something like that, or screw into a post, but it's just a long metal tube with a flat plate on it, and I have that taped to my work mat, and that holds the camera, but it also has a magnetic thing, so I could put it on there and it hold it probably not as good as the soldering holder, because this is already cantilevered pretty good off of it. No, that link doesn't come through. Throw it in the, well, here. There you go. Now you can link it, Mr. Moderator. I do not have a sweep. I attempted to build a non-sweep Ferris, and that turned out, disastrously. This is gonna be tight to get in here to solder these. All right. Per key RGB like a Kyria. You're gonna find stuff, but it's not gonna have Kyria stagger. So I think the Lily 58 or the Soffle have per key LED. Hang on. Well, no, the Lily 58 Pro has just support for both Chalk and MX Hot Swap. But the main thing, like, you're not gonna get that same level of stagger, of pinky stagger, like the Kyria has. If you don't mind about that, then I would go with the Corn, because it has per key RGB, has really easy per key RGB, and it's an awesome keyboard. I have like 10 of them. My real job is I am not working right now. I partially retired in May. But prior to that, I was a software engineer. Okay, now you have the soldered angle supports to the main PCB. Order soldering can make things simpler. There'll always be a few tricky spots. Okay, so I think if I do space them out a little bit, at least it's not... Oh, wait. Because these two won't interfere. That's where it's going to be difficult. Is it going to be harder to do... Yeah, I think this is the way... I think it's going to suck, period. This is going to be more difficult down here. But this top row, I think we're fine. Ben, can you post that link? So I can demod you. It's not that I'm like, oh, I don't want you to be a mod. It's just I'm like, I don't have a need for mods yet, or I haven't had a need for mods yet, and I kind of want to just like figure that out, cross that bridge when I get there, sort of thing. But I have to give people mod to link or to post links, which is really annoying. I wish there was, I mean, I get it, because they don't want to just have every random person be able to post links in a channel. But, you know, I could have, like, some sort of regular flag, like, you're not a mod, but you're trusted, to get around that. Kind of like an IRC, you would have someone with a voice, and they could speak in a moderated channel, I guess, but this allows you to post links. I don't know. Whatever. One of the things I don't like about YouTube. Okay. Remove moderator. See, at least this time I didn't mute you like I did Purse that one time. Oh, that was funny. I felt really bad. Nah, the link showed up at least for me. And I will look at that right now. Wow, those are expensive. Okay, yeah, I would have to do a lot more with these to want to invest that, because I think this whole setup with the magic arms or whatever, the arms, cost me like 25 bucks. And I rarely use them. I mean, I will say, I rarely use them because they kind of suck. So it's entirely possible that if they didn't suck, I would use them more often. But for the most part, I don't feel like I need them. Certainly not enough to drop $100 on, unless I have a good, like, use case for them. But I will add them to my wish list in case someone wants to buy them for me at some point. Or something. Just to bookmark them for later kind of thing. Oh, okay, okay. Okay, so those are in. It's not so bad. Even the tight one is pretty easy to get into. Giggity. Sorry, I'm 12 today. Yeah, tiny clamps, like little C clamps, because then they have, you know, arbitrarily sized jaws, basically. Okay. Before I go too much further with this, I'm going to put the hot swap sockets on the bottom for these. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. One of those, the Soffle and the Lily 58 and those kind of thing, they all just blend in for me. They blur together. Like, I think there's a Lily 58 RGB, maybe. But the Lily 58 also has a number row where the Curia does not. I would say if you're looking for the Curia and don't need the hard Pinky Stagger, go with the Corn. I think that's probably your closest relative. And it has per key RGB. You'll link it. No, I'll link it here. I'll just add you as moderator again. I'm gonna clean up some of these ugly solder joints. Is the bit C just for a microclone that happens to be USB-C, or is it anything other or anything special? I definitely wish there were more PCB color options for our controllers. I like that the well, I was gonna say I like that the KB 2040 is purple, and then I reached over and grabbed this, which is not a KB 2040. My KB 2040 is back here. I like that it's purple because it matches the PCB on the Osprey. But for the most part, you've got black or blue, and the black ones are expensive. But I also hope with Pete's work with the what is it? The Zaphod lights, where he's, you know, proof of concepting a Arduino Shao footprint controller with a with an IO expander. and having full firmware support for that and that sort of thing. I'm hoping that will give us more options for controllers than just Pro Micros, because that would be very cool. Because a Arduino Xiao is $5. So same price as a Pro Micro. Of course, you need the I/O expander if you're doing a very big matrix, but you can get 30 keys on the Xiao without an I/O expander. Which is plenty enough for like a 34 key split or something. Of course, then, you know, you have to have the split, wired split stuff, but maybe that will get higher priority to, I don't know. Pete's doing some cool shit is what I'm trying to say. And I'm looking forward to what comes of it as far as the greater keyboard community is concerned. Because there's also the BLE Xiaos, which exist and are orderable, and I ordered one. So I'm just waiting for it to show up. And that should just work out of the box with Arduino, or with the ZMK, so $10 wireless boards. Here we go. What's our time looking like? 1:45. Go play Halo with your kid. Have fun. Is that a new Halo game, or is it like OG Halo on the original Xbox? I have not been following along with any gaming stuff. I understand there's a new Metroid game for the Switch, and a friend of mine, or a couple of friends of mine, have played it, and they said I should absolutely get it. The last Metroid game I played was Metroid Prime for the GameCube, so I thought that was fun. I thought it was really fun, so I'm looking forward to it. Just gotta sit down and do it someday. Bottom row keys going to end up being thumb keys. I'm not sure yet. These two are definitely going to be thumb keys. I don't know if I'm going to angle them at all. We'll see. It looks like these can be angled kind of like this. And then these they have to be angled this way. We'll see. We'll see when we get there. Cross that bridge, or as an old coworker of mine and I used to joke, we'll burn that bridge when we cross it. All right. Now time to get in here with the you know what would be really great? Use the helping hands to hold my solder up. Whoops, okay. That happened. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But we'll see. I wanna solder these in, and then I'll put I might even actually solder some more of the lifters and stick them on here, because I can always put them on the other hand if I don't use them. I just won't solder them down. But put them on there and just kind of like See if I can't reach them. I don't think I would reach that bottom row with my fingers anyways, normally. So it's probably moot. Just because, you know, if I were using a 4-column keyboard, it would not be that I have an extra row on the bottom, it'd be I have an extra row on the top, right? So, that's where it kind of is like, well, probably just make those flat. Whoops. That side didn't actually form into a joint. There we go. Oh, Choubbi, what you're saying is there'd be like angled, flat, flat, angled. I see. That's interesting. Had not considered that. So then would you shift your home row down and use it as like a four row, but then your thumb is in kind of a weird place. Oh, so there's even a row. There's even a version of this that has an extra row up on top. Or are you saying like, if you're to do this one as a 4-row version, you do it like this? Which is a little weird because this one can only be done sideways. So then you have like this extra index row that works on the thumb, but not... Well, and then this wouldn't even actually really be, because this is more part of this row. I don't know. There's all sorts of ways you can configure this that just... I am gonna do it like this though. And then I'll probably just make these flat. If it fits. Oh, is that where the thumb goes? Or the joystick goes? Okay. I guess I could look at GitHub. So I'm looking at this picture. What is going on with that thumb? Where... I'm pretty sure I don't have the stuff to make that. It's like super, like you push outward with it. Or outward on it with your thumb or something. Wasn't there a Games Done Quick where someone played a 4-player game by themselves? And they were using their feet? Or maybe even a 2-player game by themselves and they were using their feet for the other controller? I feel like that was the thing. And it was actually like really impressive. Oh, yeah. Oh, I just noticed I haven't been soldering this top middle pin here on the switches. I've just been getting the joints on the edges. So these 4 don't have that, which is fine, because it's easy to grab. But I just noticed that I haven't been doing it. Let me go fix these real quick. Nah. Put it back in the jaws of life. Yeah, I saw that thumb thing and I'm like, I don't think that would be super comfortable to use, but I've been surprised before. I didn't think I would be able to get down to 34 keys. And now my 34 key is my default key map. Before I forget, I'm going to solder the inside of these real quick. That goes in there like that, and then I'm definitely gonna make this angled, because I feel like I like that, because I can just reach over and smack it. But I think these two are gonna be flat. And these three are gonna be flat. Yeah, I think that's how I'm gonna do it. Okay, so if I take that out, I think I can get easy access to all these pads. Get this out of the way. too late. I live dangerously. Threading the needle here. Well, I've got plenty more robins. Should I accidentally screw up one of my switches, so I'm good. Okay, so I'm gonna put this one angled, these three flat, and then I'll throw the controller and TRS jack in, and we'll call this stream for today. Okay. Oh, it's not too bad. Okay. And this is where I burn myself. Okay. Because this is not flat in here against this. We're just going to take that off completely. Try the flat ones before soldering. Oh, you mean you don't know if these will fit at all? That is a good point. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. The problem I was having with this one is I got the solder in there, but the corner was popped up a little bit, and so it wasn't flat. It would have electrically worked, but it would have been a little crooked. Would have bothered me. Just not necessarily bothered me as in like, oh, I can't type on this. This is terrible. But just more of like, I know it's broke or I know it's wrong, so it'll bother me that way. But yeah, this will work better, I think. Okay. Be easier. Ooh, that's hot. Hot on the finger. Good enough. Keep getting stuff stuck to my arm. All right. For no reason whatsoever. If you need examples, think of what could be done with a utility knife and a PCB. So I'm not soldering all the sockets on here right now. I'm just soldering one on. And I'm only going to solder one side of it on, because I want to put a switch in there. Carefully. And I put a cap on it. Oh yeah, it doesn't fit at all. Yeah, so these bottom three don't work. Or won't. I can't put switches in there. Because of the tight spacing. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Let's try to get this off of here. Let me get a little Solder sucker. Good enough. This doesn't need to be clean. I just want to take some excess off so it's not pointy. Oh yeah, I would not solder this as a flat board. The whole point of this board is to have it be up like this. Otherwise, it's just a boring... Nah, I'm kidding. It's not boring. But it's otherwise just like a kind of an Adux almost, because it's got some of the pinky splay or the ring and pinky splay going on. Like, you know, it's nothing too overly spectacular without the risers. Okay, and those are sideways like that. Yeah, sorry for not putting the joystick on. I didn't really... I was kind of lazy and didn't want to source the parts for it and stuff. And I'm just like, I'm just going to build it. Because it's still cool, even without the joystick. Yeah, the PCB angled stuff is why I'm here, so. All right. Grab a controller. The cardinal sin of PCB design with me is not having any markings on any silks for the controller. It means I have to go look in the guide or like figure out, okay, which one is ground, and you know, like I can tell that this is ground and reset here, but it's like Are the joysticks I squared C, or how do they communicate with the controller? Mostly asking because I would love to see more stuff that's like I squared C, because then you can use, say, on here behind the reset switch, there's a little quick slash stemma connector. I don't know what the difference is, but it's basically kind of a standardized pin out and JST connector for an I squared C connection. And then you wouldn't even have to have like points on the board. You just plug them into this, and there you go. You've got your accessories, like a little joystick, you know, right here or something. And I know that the QT Pie series has those as well. So here's a QT Pie RP2040 board. It's got that little connector on it. And oh, there's another nice nano. Okay. Here's a SAMD21 Cutie Pie, which has the stemma connector on there too. The Shows don't, but that's fine. They don't have to. But it would be kind of cool to see more of that. Oh, analog pins? Okay. I didn't know if it was like the, so I've been toying around, at one point I was toying around with the Circ trackpads, and they have support for SPI or I squared C, depending on how the, there's like a resistor you solder on or pull off, I don't remember, to set which one it actually communicates with. So I didn't know if the joystick had the same kind of thing. Okay. So just to double triple check, it does look like the Pro Micro is face down. So we'll do it that way. That's what I suspected from the traces anyways, but just to make sure. Last thing I want to do is solder this thing on here and have it be upside down. Well, that appears to be all of this side. I need to figure out caps. But I don't know. I wonder if scoops will fit on here. Something tells me not, but we're gonna try it real quick. Yeah, they're way too big. Yeah, they don't fit. Okay. It's fine, I have other caps, I just need to find them. Whoops. Oh, come on. You know what? That one's just permanently attached to this robin. Only I had more robins. All right. Yeah, you got to be careful because the header pins are pretty sharp on the top, so it's gonna, it could poke into your finger. You'll notice I'm still wearing safety glasses because, $2 safety glasses protects my eyes from projectile header pins. I'm all for that. But yeah, you just kind of flip them and I don't know. They're also, most of them are magnetic, so if you have a magnet like I do, but I can't find the damn thing, it helps. You can clean up afterward, or I've used them, use the magnet like right next to it while I'm clipping them. Diode legs, you got to be a little more careful because they're way sharper, so their pokes will hurt worse. But also why you should wear safety glasses doing those. Yeah. Cool. So this is pretty awesome. Definitely need to get some sort of foot on the bottom of here. I think regular bump-ons are not going to suffice. I need thick boys. But this is pretty awesome. I like that this is angled a little bit. This thumb here. I think that's kind of a neat. Because what I would do on this board is I would use these two as my main thumbs, and this would be some other rando thing. I don't know what it would be, but these two would be my, 34 key layout. Scratch this thumb off of here, and there you go. That's my 34 key layout. I'd figure out something to do. They'll probably like enter out here, but well, especially on this board because my enter is these three keys at the same time. Oh, that could get weird even without the enter because all of my combos are on the top layer, or top row, so I might have to move those to bottom, but that's harder because those are where my mods are. This board would make me have to rethink my entire layout, I think, just because otherwise I'd be pushing the damn thing around, I mean, obviously it would be stickier than it is right now because I would have feet on it, but it's still going to be, it's still going to move around a lot. It's not super heavy. I'd have to put a case on it probably. I don't know. Or maybe instead of using combos, I would hold this and just have another layer. So it'd be like, hold this and I've got my parentheses and enter or something. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, external thumb button, ejector seat. Yes. Okay, so I think I'm going to call it here today. Because we're a little over 2 hours now, and I could, I could finish this up, but it would take me probably another 2 hours. And I don't want to have a 4-hour stream today, so I think I'm going to call it for today. This is really cool. I really like how this rises up. It seemed like it might be kind of difficult to get in here with the soldering iron, but in practice it wasn't too bad. And it was really only this spot, these and these two little bits right here, because everything else has plenty of room, but even those weren't too bad. They're just kind of like, you got to be a little careful. I'm kind of regretting not getting joysticks. Just because I think that could be kind of interesting to play around with. Wait, so there's joystick pads on the bottom and the top on that side, but only on the bottom on the left side? Oh no, there's the one right there. Okay, so I could add joysticks later if I just use the bottoms. I mean, I can put them here, but that pad already has, like, it's a tight squeeze in there, but yeah, we'll see. Might order those up. But this is pretty awesome. It's a really neat concept. I like the sculpting idea. Getting keycaps on here is going to be interesting, so we'll see. I'll figure out the keycaps for tomorrow. Yeah, I'm thinking you'd have to run lighter lighter switches for this board in general. Just because of the angles and stuff. But, or just get a heavier, put like a... Where's that? Just glue it to a Cornelius. And then it won't move ever. There you go. Plenty of weight. God, I love this board. Anyways. That's it for today. Thanks everybody for coming out, hanging out, chatting with us, all that good stuff. Thanks Choubbi for your keyboard. This is really cool. It's been a fun build. Looking forward to getting it all working tomorrow. The index joysticks. Okay. And the index joysticks would go here? Or something? Because I thought you just kind of like glue or double stick taped them to the board. That's one reason I wasn't too super keen on doing it, just because I'm just like, eh. Or not so much that I wasn't super keen on doing it, just more like it was... I was like, it's fine if I don't do it, kind of thing. I don't know. But anyways, it's cool. I'll finish this up tomorrow. I realized just now that I didn't try to flash this before I soldered it on, so inevitably that Pro Micro is broken. So that could be fun. You could maybe see me do some Pro Micro surgery tomorrow. But yeah, finish this up tomorrow, play around with it, and go from there. Thanks to everyone for coming out, and see you tomorrow about noon Pacific. Hopefully my cat won't wake me up too early in the morning tomorrow. And I'll actually be able to get some sleep. So, see ya. Only without